Let me just switch on the TV and see if that works. Sorry, one more second. Hare Krishna, ये क्या चालू हो गया? It's presentation actually, Prabhu. That's okay. I'll share it on the Zoom. We'll skip that. Somehow it's not connecting. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming together today. I'm going to share my screen. Before we start, we will call out for the prayers of gratitude. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminate Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hukum karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, seek all of your blessings before we embark on the journey of studying Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 4, Chapter 17, text 15 to 18 is what we will be covering today. So this is a section where just to connect the dots, Maitreya Muni and Vidura, Shri Vidurji are discussing about the glories of Prithu Maharaj, and based on the sincere inquiry of Vidurji, Maitreya Muni is just responding. And now when Prithu Maharaj realizes the Bhumi is not producing the yield, the fruits and vegetables, and there is a big problem, and at that time he actually takes up the responsibility to actually punish Bhumi Devi, and that's what we will be discussing today. Yeah, so we are reading text 15 first today. Tam anvadavat tadvainaya kupito atayaruni kshanaha Sharam danoshi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate tam anvadava tadvainya kupito atyaru nikshanaha sharam danoshi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate tam tam anvadava tadvainya kupito atayaru nikshanaha sharam danoshi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate. Any volunteers? Tam anvadava tadvainya kupito atyarunekshanaha sharam danushi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate tam anvadava tadvainya kupito atyarunekshanaha sharam danushi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate. Tam anvadava tadvainya kupito tyarunekshanaha sharam danushi sandhaya yatra yatra palayate. Synonyms: tam, the cow-shaped earth; anvadavat, he chased; tat, then; vainya, the son of King Veena; kupitaha, being very much angry; ati aruna, very red; ikshanaha, his eyes; sharam, an arrow; dhanushi, on the bow; sandhaya, placing; yatra yatra, wherever; palayate, she flees. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Seeing this, Maharaj Prithu became very angry and his eyes became as red as the early morning sun. Placing an arrow on his bow, he chased the cow-shaped earth wherever she would run. We'll continue the next verse. I'll directly read the translation. This is 16. The cow-shaped earth ran here and there in the outer space between the heavenly planets and the earth, and wherever she ran, the king chased her with his bow and arrows. Text 17. Just as the man cannot escape the cruel hands of death, the cow-shaped earth could not escape the hands of the son of Veena. At length the earth, fearful, her heart aggrieved, turned back in helplessness. 18. Addressing the great opulent King Prithu, as the knower of the religious principles and shelter of the surrender, she said, "Please save me. You are the protector of all living entities. Now you are situated as the king of this planet." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The cow-shaped earth addressed King Prithu as Dharmagnya, which refers to one who knows the principles of religion. The principles of religion dictate that a woman, a cow, a child, a brahmana, and an old man must be given all protection by the king or anyone else. Consequently, Mother Earth took the shape of a cow. She was also a woman. Thus she appealed to the king as one who knows the principles of religion. Religious principles also dictate that one is not to be killed if he surrenders. She reminded King Prithu that not only was he an incarnation of God, but he was situated as the king of earth as well. So very beautiful section we are on. Before we embark, I want to confess, I don't have any qualification. Srimad Bhagavatam is a very sincere subject to discuss, and it's a very, very serious matter to discuss, because this is going on while Parikshit Maharaj is actually leaving his body in 7 days. So imagine how sincerely Parikshit Maharaj will be listening all this stuff. And of course, we can't realize the intensity of what that position is in. But what we see here is that Bhumi Devi is showing the qualification, or showing the example of surrender. My idea was for today's discussion is to cover 2 sections. One is to actually the symptoms of Sharanagati, or prerequisites of Sharanagati, or whatever we call it as. And then second, seeing few examples which are specifically talking about how religion personified should protect the cows, protect the women, brahmanas, and old men. We will discuss few examples based on that. The life is designed in such a way, we from the day we are born, till the day we die, we are so helpless. Bhumi Devi here is helpless and finally surrendering to Prithu Maharaj. There are 2 kind of people in this world. One is who do not realize that they need to surrender, or they are already part of it actually, but they don't accept that I'm surrendering. They feel they are the master. And there are other people who are actually completely surrendered, relying on the mercy of the Lord every minute. When we come in the path of devotional service, it's actually the journey from the first to second, where before coming to bhakti, we think we are the doer, we are the creator, we are the proprietor, and we are the one who's going to write the destiny. But we are like that Kati Patang, just thinking about it. When I was a small boy, Makar Sankranti was my favorite festival, and more than buying the kites, I would drive pleasure and catching the flights which will fly and then run behind those kites. Unless the life is surrendered to Krishna, unless we are not hooked up to Krishna, we are like that loose kite. So many people are chasing us to give us trouble. But if our thread is tied, we can fly so high in the sky, as high as you can think, with the support of the wind. So similar way, when we talk about bhakti, when we are completely anchored, when we are completely attached to that thread, and the person who is making us fly, in this case Krishna and his devotees, we can fly so high. And at the same time, we realize we are so insignificant. Because what is my position? As long as the person who is flying me is holding me, I can be high as long as I want. But when that thread is cut, then I will just fly wherever wind takes me there, and I don't have any control, and I don't know what is my destiny. So when we talk about the principle of Sharanagati is that, first and foremost thing, this material world is designed to give us trouble. And the question comes in is, when do we surrender? I was just thinking about in my own personal life experience. I don't want to get into the details. We just want to keep things aligned with that one. Unless the situation becomes to the end where there is no hope now, unfortunate thing is we actually take the shelter of Krishna at that time. Until then we think that we can figure out these things. Though the philosophy is baked into our brain, but it does not actually penetrate through the heart, and we keep trying our effort until we come to an end. We realize, oh, now I have to only have, no doctors are going to help, nobody is going to help, not my relatives, not my this. So many examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. The best example I can think at this moment is Gajendra. He's relying on his families, he's relying on his own capacity, but he realizes that I can't do anything. Right now, the situation is that I am like that Kati Patang. Unless that is connected to Krishna, nothing can happen. He starts offering prayers to Lord Vishnu, beautiful prayers by offering lotus flower. And that is the position Bhumi Devi here is taking. But Bhumi Devi here, just for sake of making us understand, she is coming into that position after she thinks that until Prithu Maharaj just picks up the bow and starts running, Prithvi Devi is representing us, talking about we don't take shelter of Krishna, and now finally she is taking shelter because she realized Prithu Maharaj is none other than Supreme Lord himself. He is an incarnation of Godhead. So that is the one aspect which I wanted to cover. And we see the second example or second aspect from this. We see the king is taking the responsibility for citizen. Taking responsibility even in spiritual life, like we take care in material life, is needed in spiritual life as well. And here King Prithu Maharaj takes up the charge actually to take up the responsibility to relieve citizens from the difficulty they are going through. We see in Ramayana there is an example about Romapad. King Romapad is actually a pious king, but he disrespects Brahmanas. And when Brahmanas were disrespected, they stopped offering yajna on his behalf. And because they stopped offering the yajna on his behalf, there was a scarcity of food. There was no rain because the share in chapter 3, Krishna Bhagavad Gita in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna speaks so elaborately about the yajna. What is the importance of performing a yajna? Where Krishna is specifically talking about how it is important to actually perform yajna and how because of the yajna, the whole life cycle about anna and food is being taken care of. So now there is a drought. So King Rompad was actually friend of Dashrath Maharaj. So he approached Dashrath Maharaj, this is a problem statement. And Dashrath Maharaj said, oh, well, my ministers are capable enough to solve the problem. And they approached their ministers. And when they approached their ministers, they suggested that the sages and Indra are displeased. And now what is your responsibility is, there is a son of sage Vibandaka. His name is Rishi Shringa. And he is such a renounced sage. From his birth, his father has kept him in the forest, not being allured by the material energy. And he is practicing austere tapasya. If he somehow enters to the Angadesh, then there will be a shower of rain which happens. So Romapad Maharaj accepts that idea and goes back to his kingdom and proposes that to his ministers. Ministers like that idea, but he said this is impossible. Because when he moved to go to Rishi Shringa, his father will never let this go. Really? So we have to do something about it. So they said, because he is so attached to the austerity, what we should do is, we should send some woman who was actually go and somehow appeal him to come this side. But it has to be done in a subtle way because he has been never exposed to a woman. So some chaste woman actually realizes the precarious situation in terms of the drought and people are dying because of lack of food and all. So she decides, okay, I will go there. And they build a hermitage very close to the hermitage of Vibandaka, where Rishi Shringa is also living. And one time Vibandaka actually goes to the forest to get the roots and herbs for the yajna. And he tells his son, it will take some time, so please take care of yourself and prepare for the yajna. And at that time, this lady is being told by the minister, oh, you know what, now Rishi Shringa is alone. So she disguises herself as a man. And she comes in front of Rishi Shringa. Rishi Shringa sees him and considers him as a brahmachari, that he is another sage. And then they are discussing, and at that time actually, this man actually hugs him. And this is the first time Rishi Shringa is, without any understanding, he is actually embracing a woman. And he realizes there is something different, but he can't understand that. So anyway, So now Rishi Shringa is, King Vibanda, the sage Vibandaka is about to come, so she leaves or he leaves from there. And then what happens to Rishi Shringa? He is not able to focus on this because something has happened in his mind. And he's focusing on it, what's going on. He's just thinking about that sage, which is actually none other than a woman here. And she again comes next day when the Vibandaka is not there. And then he said, I was missing you, I was just missing your association. So she convinced him to come to her or his, whatever we call it as, ashram. And then she brings him and he agrees. And then at that time, Rompad Maharaj arranges the boat and they bring him in. And the moment he enters, then the rain starts showering, beautiful thunderstorm came. And the whole province became really fertile, agriculture fertile. And then finally he offered his daughter to get married to King Rishi Shringa, the sage Rishi Shringa. We know about another pastime of Rishi Shringa. I think that is sufficient based on the pastime that he entered there. And king actually solved the problem of citizens there. Rishi Shringa is also the sage who actually came for the Putra Kamekshni Yagya for Dashrath Maharaj when he did not beget any child and when he did not have any son. So he's the same Rishi. So what we see in this example, like Prithu Maharaj takes up the responsibility, the king, same with the householders and Grihasthas, everyone is responsible to take care of their family and their dependents. Another example which we think about, and I'll skip this one, we already covered that. Another example we see is of Prithu Maharaj here is that the moment Prithvi Devi, Bhumi Devi, in the form of a cow, took shelter of Prithu Maharaj, he immediately subsides his anger. And we see so many examples in scriptures. One of the example is Lord Ram killing Tataka. When Vishwamitra Muni actually takes Lord Ram and Lakshman to the forest. What is that forest name? Can you remind me again? Dandakaranya. Thank you. Thank you. Nice to remember the details. Thank you, Prabhu. So, Vishwamitra Muni mentions about the situation that there is this lady demon who comes and destroys all our yajna. And he empowers, he provides more weapons to Lord Ram and train him. And when Tataka comes, Lord Ram just pauses there because he is confused. How can I kill a lady? Based on the principle of king, one should not actually kill the woman or someone who is weaponless. So what should I, or someone surrenders. Now of course she is not surrender, but she is a lady, so she fills in the first criteria. And she starts attacking Lord Ram and Lakshman. And Vishwamitra Muni is saying, why are you not shooting the arrows? I taught you this. Please use that. And Lord Ram puts this argument forward, this is lady. And then Vishwamitra Muni defeats that idea, saying that if the lady comes, though she is a woman, if she is actually setting up adharma and she is actually on the other side of it and creating havoc for the sages, then one takes the responsibility of killing her. And then Lord Ram shoots Tataka. But this is the beautiful nature of Lord Ram, which is being portrayed here, that the quality of compassion is very much needed. And one has to use that power to understand where to apply compassion. And that should be the first eye. Very similar to what we are seeing here. We see Parikshit Maharaj seeing the Kali personified. Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful chapter specifically narrating this part. Where actually here, Kali herself, who actually came in the form of a Shudra but wearing a kingly dress. So she is, or he is disguising himself as a king. But what kind of activities he is performing is very heinous. He is trying to kill the cow and the what is the male form of the cow? Bull. Yeah, thank you. So, and what is Parikshit Maharaj saying? This is very beautiful. Actually, very similar thing is there. Srila Prabhupada writes, and this is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17, verse 29. He says, when the personality of Kali understood that the king was willing to kill him, he at once abandoned the dress of a king and under pressure of fear completely surrendered to him, bowing his head. which is very similar to what we are reading. In text 30, it says, Maharaj Parikshit, who was qualified to accept surrender and worthy of being sung in history, did not kill the poor, surrender and fallen Kali, but smiled compassionately, for he was kind to the poor. You see, Lord and his devotees, what is being Krishna consciousness mean? Krishna consciousness means developing the quality of Krishna. And at every moment, in every discussion, in every communication, it's very much needed to imbibe this quality of Krishna, to actually have the compassion. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, even an ordinary Kshatriya does not kill a surrendered person. And what to speak of Maharaj Parikshit, who was by nature compassionate and kind to the poor. He was smiling because the artificially dressed Kali had disclosed his identity as a lower class man, and he was thinking how ironic it was that although no one was saved from his sharp sword, when he desired to kill the poor lower class Kali was spared by his timely surrender. Maharaj Parikshit's glory and kindness are therefore sung in history. He was a kind and compassionate emperor, fully worthy of accepting surrender even from his enemy. And we will take this and we will see some example on this part as well. Thus the personality of Kali was saved by the will of providence. So this is a very important quality. Parikshit Maharaj also shows how the compassionate, when someone surrenders, how one has to be compassionate on that person. And we were just discussing just few weeks back somewhere, I forgot where we spoke, but we were talking about the quality of forgiveness. Now the tendency is that even if someone commits, so-called thing or bad thing for us, and then that person comes and begs forgiveness, we feel, okay, that's okay, just forget it. But this is very important actually, that one has to imbibe the quality to understand what the other person is going through and imbibe that. On this principle, to talk about surrender, in Mahabharata there is an example about Sahasra Kavacha. He was actually a demon who worshipped Surya Dev, and he got 1,000 Kavacha. He took the vow, or he got the benediction that 1,000 Kavachas will be there. Is this 1,000 or 100? I'm confused. 1,000, okay. Because some places it's 100. So, Sahasra, okay. Thank you. So, he asked that boon, that give me a boon, anybody comes to kill me, they destroy one of my kavacha, they have to do thousands years of tapasya. And they will have to do that, they will do thousands years of tapasya. And then whoever destroys that, he is dead. Now this guy got the boon and he is creating such a havoc in material world. And the sages approach, they go to Badrik Ashram and they actually call Narayan Rishi. And Narayan Rishi actually accepts that. And what happens is, first Nar, who is none other than Krishna and Arjuna, first Nar fights and he destroys one kavacha. And then again he goes back, he is dead, and again the Narayan revives him and he performs tapasya. And in the meantime Narayan is fighting now. And that way they destroyed 999 kavachas. So when Sahasra Kavacha realized that, immediately he took the shelter of Surya Dev. And when Narayan Rishi approached, Surya Dev said, because he has taken shelter of me, I can't let him be killed that way. And in next life, the same person appeared as Karna. And at that time, same Narayan Rishi appeared as Krishna, and Arjuna actually became the cause of his death. Because actually Govind Prabhu elaborately spoke about that. There are scriptures written on Karna. And people, especially in Maharashtra, he was mentioning about one of the great poet, actually great, I don't know what great is, but basically whatever it is. He wrote a book, how Karna's personality is great, without even understanding what was his past life and what actually brought him here to this life. That is another example. Another example we see when we talk about the Brahmana. Draupadi, her 5 sons, while they are sleeping, they are unarmed, they are sleeping. They have been killed by Ashwatthama. And she sees, she realizes what has happened. She is in so much of agony. Arjuna takes a vow that I will bring the son of Brahmana in front of you. And he actually goes and catch hold of him. And again, there is a huge pastime based on that, where he releases the Brahmastra. And when he releases he releases Brahmastra, and Arjuna also, Krishna says, you release the Brahmastra to counteract that, and he actually brings him in front of Mother Draupadi. And Mother Draupadi, her another name we were just listening is also Krishna, and she also has quality like Krishna. When she sees him, she asks Arjuna, let him go. And Bhima is outraged. How can you let it go? I will kill him. But she says, I know the pain a mother goes through when she loses their children. And I don't want the Guru Patni to actually feel the same experience I am going through. And on top of it, Dronacharya is your Guru. He provided you all the education. So one has to actually understand to offer gratitude to the Guru. And Mother Draupadi actually releases him. And again, there is another class by His Grace Govind Prabhu on that, whether that was a right act or improper act, which is what is happening there. Another pastime which we see from Ramayana is Lord Ram and Vibhishan. When Vibhishan comes actually to take the shelter of Lord Ram, first and foremost, nobody agrees. And Lord Ram asks Hanuman, what is your opinion? And Hanumanji says, in my opinion, you should accept him. Because though he is an enemy, he is surrendering, so you should accept him. And in the similar incidents which happened, Lord Ram is actually telling Ravan to surrender. And he says, if Ravan surrenders today, I will offer him Ayodhya. And so because now he already promised actually to Vibhishan that I will actually make you the king of Lanka. And then the argument and the question is asked to Lord Ram, how about if Ravana comes and takes shelter of you, what will you do? He says, I'll make him the king of Ayodhya. But my dear Lord, you already promised, Bharat Maharaj is there, your brother Bharat is there. What kingdom he will rule? He said, I'll make him the king of Vaikuntha. And I will serve. What a beauty, what a character, what a personality. So we see in this case, even a demon like Ravana who created so many atrocities on Mother Sita, kidnapped her, who is actually none other than the energy of the Lord himself. But Lord is so compassionate that because you took, if you come and take shelter now, I will even forgive you right now. And that is the power. So with that, I would like to summarize the whole thing which we discuss about. Is we spoke about the verse, we discussed about 3 verses, which is specifically talking about Mother Bhumi disguised herself as a cow. And she actually runs here and there while Prithu Maharaj is chasing her. And after she realizes there is no other shelter, she surrenders and she actually glorify Lord Prithu Maharaj and saying that you are none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are incarnation of Godhead, incarnation of God. So please be merciful upon me. We talked about the principle of Sharanagati is that one has to learn how to be always tied with the thread of Krishna like a kite. And that's how we can fly high in the sky. The second aspect we talked about, what are different examples in scriptures which are actually showing. One example we took about is King Romapad, who actually taking up the responsibility of a king, he actually brings Rishishringa And then somehow the rain happens because of his mercy, because of his presence. We covered that part. And we talked about how Lord and his devotees are so compassionate. We discussed about the example about Vibhishan. We discussed the example of Draupadi and Ashwatthama. We discussed the example of Sahasra Kavacha, who took the shelter of Suryadev, and Suryadev protected him. And we took an example about King Parishit Maharaj and Kali personified. And we also covered how Lord Ram actually protected Tataka, though she came to destroy everything there. So please forgive me for my any shortcomings. Just took some examples based on whatever I heard so far. If there are any shortcomings, if there are any mistakes, I beg pardon from all of you and sincerely request to pray that Krishna consciousness is very sublime process, but it is sublime as long as one takes the path of Sharanagati, and I lack in that. With that, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveda Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Thank you. Samaveda Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Any comments or reflections or anything to add on this topic?
One point,
please.
I told you about Dandakaranya, but I said Dandakaranya is when they went for Vanvas. Lord Ram, the forest name is Tadkavan.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah.
Was killed. There is Tadkavan. That is near modern day Buxar in Bihar.
In Bihar?
Yeah. That is the place. That is Tadkavan.
Ah, beautiful. His Grace Krishna Kumar Prabhu clarified where Tataka was killed. That wasn't the Dandakaranya forest, but that was a Tataka forest. Tataka 1. And that is currently near Bihar. That's the current location of that. I was just listening on that topic. Some devotees, actually some sannyasis, they went to Bangladesh and they were talking about the birthplace of Murari Gupta, birthplace of Narottam Thakur, birthplace of Advaita Acharya, who is coming, just a beautiful day is just coming in a week for us. So all these great personalities were actually born there, which is at that time that used to be the region called as East Bengal. And now in today's world is Bangladesh. And they were planning to go to Advaita Acharya, where he was, Srila Advaita Acharya's birthplace. They were told they will have to go on the bike in the deep forest for 6 hours to go to that place. It is so remote and so inaccessible today. And they couldn't go there. But they were mentioning about that they went to Murari Thakur's appearance place, and then many other devotees in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So yeah, they are very deep nectar to actually be on those places and experience that. Like Shantipur, I remember somehow we were going there. You were there, right? Shantipur we were going. So we just went for Mayapur Yatra when we did all 3 Dham Parikrama in 1 year. At the time,
I was there in Vrindavan.
So it's a huge detour to actually go to that place. And then seeing that beautiful pastime where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes there. So yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for adding that. Any other comments online?
Krishna Kumar Prabhu's appearance.
Yeah, see.
When we spoke about appearance places,
so today is a Krishna Kumar Prabhu's appearance day. So only great fortune I have is I was born close to where he was born. So that is the only close proximity I have. Otherwise, I'm not qualified. The only maybe other difference would be he would be flying the kite, and then I would be catching the same kite when it just gets deducted. So nobody knows when is what. So that's how I can think about. But thank you so much. It's a wonderful opportunity to glorify devotees, and this is a wonderful opportunity. Today is Krishna Kumar Prabhu's appearance day. It's a wonderful opportunity to glorify. Vaishnava is known by how compassionate one is, and use that opportunity to actually bring everyone closer to Krishna. And Krishna Kumar Prabhu never defeats or never misses a single moment to actually speak about Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu to each and everyone, and giving that love and compassion to everyone. We are very grateful to you for your presence in our life, Krishna Kumar Prabhu. So many qualities, so much to learn from you. One thing which I realized just to share, I didn't share it on the other day, but it's worth. When His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj would come to my house, at certain times I would shy away to go in front of him because the problem in bhakti is that we are not very close to actually hearing anybody giving a chastisement. You know, easy to everyone says, Prabhu, you are so great, you give wonderful class, you give wonderful kirtan. Great, as long as someone glorifies you, no problem, but someone gives you a chastisement to run away. So I have a same problem. You may not have, but at least I have it. So I was getting left and right, morning to evening, sometimes for a couple of days. I was shying away. Should I take the plate inside for Maharaj because he must be hungry, or should I just stay outside? And then there is one pastime on that. Maybe I'll just share that after this. Then Krishna Kumar Prabhu would come and I would become joyous. Oh, I have someone who can actually take the plate inside for Maharaj. And Maharaj would actually laugh and
प्रभुजी अभी ऑनलाइन आ रहे हैं Zoom पे, he cannot join until we end this call.
who?
You will
Okay. So yeah, it's wonderful actually that he has that access to all gurus, and he has such a jovial nature. He can actually he can enter anywhere. So that is wonderful. Very grateful, Prabhu. Thank you so much. La Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna for your kind presence. Thank you. His Grace Krishna Kumar Prabhu ki jai. Samaveda Gaur Bhaktavinda ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare